Giants 23, Raiders 16. Welcome to Talking Giants, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick. And you got ourselves a Victory Monday. Which we're going to enjoy. We got 2 weeks off, 2 weeks until the Giants' next game. So it's nice to hit that bye week with a W under their belt. But we're also going to talk about the defense first, which usually means we're not really very happy with the offense. Like for us to talk about the defense first, it means that the defense won the game, which, it's a lot easier to talk about offense. So we're going to talk about that. But Justin, how are you feeling? You were at the game. Giants are now 3-6 and a game and a half back of the wild card.
Yeah. Hi, Bobby Skinner. Happy Victory Monday. Happy Victory Monday to all of you. Nice to get another home win. Giants are 2-3 at home. They're 3-6 on the season. That is their best record since 2016. Congratulations to Dave Gettleman. It's his best record through his first 4 years. And I'm saying this seriously. I'm maybe 65% sarcastic.
I don't think you're saying that seriously.
65% sarcastic, 35% congratulations. So there's a lot of emotions that I feel like we have right now. I think there's relief that we pulled out a win like this, right? In games that which we've lost games like this, right? So there's a little bit of frustration, which is going to be second half of the show. And there's happiness, right? There's happiness that comes with the Victory Monday. So I'm in the camp that Giants can't sustain wins like this. But the coaching staff, and if you hear Joe Judge's thoughts after the game, I think this game went exactly like they wanted it to. He got asked about not throwing it to Tony, not throwing it to Golladay. And he's like, no, that we wanted to go out and run the ball and prevent the Raiders offense from going out there. And because of the lackluster offensive line that they have, that's the game plan that they want to have. And that's clear. We've made that clear on this show now, time and time again, that this Giants coaching staff, especially on the offense side of the ball, they don't prioritize scoring points. So that's their approach. Bobby, I think they're going to have an opportunity towards the second half of the season with the lackluster schedule. They're going to have an opportunity to see if it works. I think there are games on this schedule where it's like, you know what, I can look at that Miami game. I can look at 2 games against Philly. I can look at another Washington game. I can look at an LA Chargers game, which the Eagles just played them tooth and nail to the end. If the defense can continue to carry us like they did in 2020 and have those types of performances, we're going to see if this offensive philosophy is going to work. And if this coaching staff and if their approach, I don't think it is sustainable, but we're going to see. So that's where I'm at right now in terms of feeling frustrated, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like, what does this win really do? That's where I'm at right now. Let them rock and roll and let it see if it works.
The philosophy will slightly change because Andrew Thomas will most likely be back. That really is the decider on how conservative versus aggressive. They're never really aggressive, but that really is a decider. But let's talk about the defense. And
Yep.
Justin, I don't think my opinion really changed much on anybody today. Where it's like, oh wow, I felt about you this way coming in. Besides Xavier McKinney, because it's like the guys who we loved and trusted were those guys today. Quincy Roche. We like Roche, and he had that game-winning sack. We won't talk about him. He's played well. It's not like we're not expecting him to be a superstar, but it's like we felt good about him, coming in, talking about how he's been underrated. But Xavier McKinney, man, Patrick Graham balled, Jason Garrett sucked, the offense wasn't good, Joe Judge, it's a very the identity of this team is, and try and grind out these wins. But Xavier McKinney, man, and he's the player of the game.
Yeah.
He has a pick six. He adds 7 points to the game. And we don't win without that.
No, we do
not. He has the interception in the fourth quarter, And Xavier McKinney, and those were both, there's times where you get an interception and it's just a bad ball, or you're playing decent coverage but it's a misplaced ball. Those were 2 amazing plays by Xavier McKinney. The first one where you put Darnay Holmes in a nickel blitz, and Derek Carr's, he's like, hey, I want hit the run throw. It's third down and get him on the out route. And instead of McKinney sitting back and playing in man and trying to keep things, in front of the sticks, no, he plays it aggressive, undercuts, 7 points for the Giants through that. And then on the other one, playing that deep center field safety, which we really haven't done. They've done very rarely. Even when they do it, it's like, it's not even fully split in the middle. Plays it aggressively on that out and up route by Zay Jones and picks that off. Xavier McKinney, who we've been tough on and talking about, he doesn't really make any plays, made plays today. He played fast, he played aggressive, and was trusted everything that was in front of him. And he balled out today. It was definitely his best game of his career by far. And that's coming with him not even getting the practice really until Friday.
Yeah, Joe Judge had a funny comment after the game that it was Ferris Bueller. Not showing up in the middle of the week, but still, when it comes down to it, showing up and performing. So I thought that was actually a pretty funny comment by him. So with McKinney with that second interception, like, it was actually noteworthy to me. I get the old 22 camera angle from section 315. Could you tell, Bobby, like with the broadcast angle, is it running through your head as that play's happening that, oh, this is a single high safety look because they're bringing Logan Ryan down like he's about to blitz. This is not really something that we've done this year. Is that something that's running through your head? Because it was running through mine.
They showed it in a replay. I wasn't thinking about it in play.
In play, I was like, David Powell was sitting right next to me. I was like, David, this is something that has not happened. And Derek Carr saw it. He's like, whoa. Whether he changed a play at a line of scrimmage or he simply just called something out. Like, there was a stoppage where I think Logan Ryan tried to anticipate the snap and he ran up. But he ran it maybe a little too early, so then Derek Carr's like, whoa, what's going on here? McKinney, I think, saves that play because I think Bradbury falls a little bit, so McKinney jumps on that ball as that single high center field safety. And then with that first interception, one of the things I think both of us wanted to see more out of McKinney is moving more laterally and playing a little bit more in man coverage versus just constantly moving backwards, right? Constantly moving backwards as like that free safety. But if he's like charging forward and he's being aggressive and he's playing with those instincts, like you said to start, I mean, that is where he was strongest at Alabama. And then you saw him make two great plays today doing that same exact thing. The first interception was a little bit more like what he did at Alabama, kind of playing man coverage, playing a guy by the sideline, breaking on a ball carrier when he's moving forward. So awesome by Xavier McKinney, especially somebody who has really struggled this year.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we forget how young he is, and he didn't really get a real rookie season, because of the foot injury. And even then when he came back, he wasn't playing the position that he's playing right now.
And it's also a really tough position. Like, look at Pros Pro, terrible example, but look at Pros Pro Antoine Bethea in 2019. How long was he in the National Football League? And then he was asked to play single high safety, which he hadn't done in a long time, and he struggled. I mean, playing as single high, like that center field free safety spot is genuinely one of the hardest positions to play in the NFL because you're responsible for so much. You're responsible for such a large area, and there could be plays that happen in front of you, and you don't want to let anything behind you. So it's good to see that he has a game like this playing a position that is pretty hard and not something that he did a lot at Alabama.
Yeah. I mean, it was very encouraging. Like I said, I mean, this year a lot. There was times where Adoree Jackson even got blamed on a couple of plays earlier in the season where it's like, no, that was Xavier McKinney who blew that coverage. Because it was the quarters, four deep coverage. And on top of that, he just wasn't playing aggressive. He kind of was just playing his spot zone and not playing aggressive, not picking things up and letting stuff happen underneath him. So for him to have a game like that today was really impressive. I was very happy for him. I'm excited to see him build on that, where McKinney, we talk about, guys making plays. McKinney was a second-round pick in 2020, and up until this point, he really wasn't adding much, but of your second-round picks should eventually become playmakers, like second-round, you expect that out of your second-round picks, maybe not stars, but playmakers, and today McKinney was a playmaker. I want to see him build on it.
Bobby, I really want him to take that Jabril Peppers role in 2020, in 2021, not necessarily 2020, where I don't think McKinney has the physicality to play in the box or to be like that money backer like maybe we thought that he could coming out of Alabama. But what Jabril Peppers was doing this year was he was kind of playing a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage, but a strong safety who still relatively plays back and is responsible for also covering slot wide receivers at times too. I would love to see McKinney kind of replicate like that interception that he had today, where he was responsible for coming down and playing man coverage on a slot wide receiver. I would love to see the Giants in the future get more of a true center free safety, like that center field free safety, right? Get more of a true guy like that and have McKinney take like that place of Jabril Peppers this year. I know he wasn't playing all that much, but I think McKinney's strengths is exactly what you saw him today when he's playing more man coverage, when he's responsible for less, so to speak, and he could play with more instincts. That's what I want to see in the future.
Well, Patrick Graham put him in that situation, and Patrick Graham and the Giants defense as a whole has been balling, especially the past 3 weeks. They held the Panthers to 3 points in that game, and it's like good game, but it's like it is the Panthers. Sam Darnold was struggling. The Panthers offense was it was a bad offense, but the past 2 weeks, you have the number 2 and the number 4 passing offenses in the NFL. You know, the Raiders were the second best passing offense in the NFL. The Chiefs were the 4th best. You know, you keep those teams to 20 points to 16 points consecutively. I mean, look at the last 3 games. Opposing QBs, Justin, are completing 63% of their passes, 240 yards per game. Here's the big one. And again, we just talked about how these guys are, you know, leading the league in passing. 5.8 yards per attempt.
Oof.
Over the last 3 games. That's amazing. You know, if your QB averages 5.8 yards per attempt through 3 games, he sucks. 2 touchdowns allowed, 4 interceptions, 9 sacks, and then 13 points per game during those games. And they scored 9 points on their own. You know, the safety versus Carolina, and then Xavier McKinney's pick 6. Patrick Graham is throwing different things. Joe Judge even said in his presser today that they drew some stuff up on the sideline, which I'm going to look forward to seeing what that stuff ended up being. And I think maybe that McKinney interception could have been that, because you mentioned how it was single high. We hadn't done a ton of single high. You know, McKinney playing fast and instinctual. Like a lot of guys are stepping up, you know, right now, where it's like you don't really have that pass rush on the edge still. Your inside linebackers are pretty weak right now. But it's like all those other guys that should be stepping up are stepping up, and the Adoree Jackson, Bradbury's, McKinney's, you know, and then you know, Leo Leonard. I don't think he didn't make much noise today. A couple of batted passes, but he didn't really make a ton of noise today. But you know, the 3 games before that he was, you know, so he's not going to do that every single game. So it's just like Patrick Graham has this defense balling right now. And when people asked us a couple weeks ago, like, are we back on the defense? It's like, I don't know yet. Well, now I am. I'm back on the defense.
Yeah, and a lot of what I talked about, we kind of went back and forth on this to start the season. A lot of what I talked about towards the beginning part of the season was more or less player execution versus Patrick Graham. Well, I think Patrick Graham has kind of perfectly married what made him great and what made this defense great in 2020 by playing a little bit more zone. Now, Bobby, you thought they played a little bit more man today. So, you know, maybe
third downs.
On third downs, they played a little bit more man.
It's kind of what we expected out of Patrick Graham out of Miami. We were talking about, like, yeah, you know, he plays a good amount of zone stuff, but it's like on third down, it's like when he likes to get into man coverage, and that's when they did.
And what's different about the Raiders versus the Chiefs is I actually trust the Giants secondary, especially without Ruggs. I trust the Giants secondary to clamp down against man coverage against these Raiders wide receivers. And then obviously Darren Waller's a different situation, whether you're going to put a linebacker over there or have a safety over the top. And then Bradbury, did a solid job.
Crazy, the best tight end game of the year happened with Jabril Peppers out.
Yeah. So I do have a stat though that I think perfectly tells and contextualizes just how good this Giants defense has been the last 3 weeks, but also this is Patrick Graham's identity. This is this Giants defense's identity, right? Looking at the field zone, and particularly when teams cross the 50-yard line or when they enter into the red zone, how are the Giants doing? Well, against the Raiders, 18 plays were ran in the red zone by the Las Vegas Raiders. Bobby, I want you to guess, how many yards did they average per play inside the 20-yard line?
1.9.
2.11. Which is
Wait,
still
the Raiders or the Chiefs?
The Raiders.
Oh, I know you tweeted about the Chiefs, so I was stealing the fact.
So 18 plays ran in the red zone for Las Vegas, 2.11 yards per play. Last week it was 19 plays, 1.9 yards per play. And then versus Carolina, there was only 1 play that was run in the red zone in general, and they clamped down when you talk about the 41-yard line to the 41-yard line on the other side of the field. So where this Giants defense is best is I don't care how many yards they allow, but when they get to key spots on the football field, when they're good, when they're at their best, when they get to key spots on the football field, they clamp down. And frankly, I don't know if you can have any more of a dichotomy between how Patrick Graham sees and values defense in the NFL and how Jason Garrett values and sees offense in the NFL, where Patrick Graham is willing to say, I don't care. Giants could be last in the NFL in yards per game. They could be dead last, but when it counts, when it matters, is the points. And it's why it's funny how the Raiders lost this game, how the Giants usually lose games by red zone inefficiency and settling for field goals on 4th and shorts when they maybe should be going for it on 4th down. It's funny how that kind of worked out.
Yeah, you think it'd carry over. Like, hey, look how we're doing things, by the way. Yeah, and the Raiders went to the red zone 6 times today. Once. They were 1 for 6 in the red zone. And then especially in the second half, you had a pick 6 to start, the field goal, a missed field goal, another pick, and then the strip the strip sack by Quincy Roche to end the game. Like they showed up when it mattered. And that's that's kind of how they did it last year. We talked about last
exactly.
year. It's like, they're not really great in yards, but it's like they are really good in the red zone. Like they're I think they were either like second or third in like red zone defense last season.
No, they were. Yes, they were top 5. They were top 5 red zone defense last year.
And so they're doing that. But Adoree Jackson has been really good. Like Adoree Jackson doesn't get passes really completed on him. And they especially doesn't get them completed on him over 10 yards. If they are completed, that's it's the 10. So when he's playing soft zone, they run a little 5-yard hitch.
The only time you've heard Adoree Jackson's name this year is getting frustrated with him that he doesn't come down with an interception.
Yeah, and it's like if you are shutting down receivers, like I want you to get some interceptions, but it's like like your job is to stop them from getting plays. And I've had bad cornerback 2 play for a long time, and Adoree's been awesome, man. Like, think about this. Like, Waller had his stats this game, had 93 yards. Renfro had the slot, had 47. Their outside wide receivers today had 8 targets. How many catches do you think they had?
I'm going to say 3.
1 catch.
Wow.
Zay Jones and Bryan Edwards had combined for 1 catch for 20 yards, which was somehow worse than our outside receivers. On 8 targets. So that was good. Waller got his here and there, but it was never like Waller taking over a drive. It was like, okay, Waller got, a nice 15, 18-yard chunk on this drive, and then, and especially in the red zone. They were trying to get the ball to Waller in the red zone, and they weren't able to. Bradbury had a deflection on what would have been a touchdown if he wasn't there playing it. And then the one that Carr overthrew could have been a touchdown, but at the same time, like, Bradbury jammed him up like crazy and screwed up the timing on that play. So you can chalk it up to, Carr overthrew him, but also it's like, well, Carr overthrew him because they work on that all week, and Waller's probably not used to being jammed up like he was versus James Bradbury.
And McKinney, that's a ball where McKinney probably should have broke a little bit earlier on that. So, but McKinney makes up for it, right, with the 2 really good plays that he had. Yeah.
Quincy Roche, we only had 1 sack of the game. Quincy Roche strips. I mean, Quincy Roche is playing like last year when we thought as Lorenzo Carter was playing well and he didn't have the best stats, but like playing well. Like, that's where I feel like Quincy Roche is playing right now as a rookie. And someone DM'd me this, and it's 2. He looks bigger than I thought he did in college. Now, maybe it's because he's wearing number 95 instead of 2.
That is a thing.
But he looks bigger, man. And he just never stops. His hands, his feet, they are all continuously working together, And that's why I like Quincy Roche in the draft. And obviously the Giants liked him too, to pick him up off waivers. When at the end of the day, you don't really pick up a ton of guys on waivers after 53-man cut down day. But it's like he just, he's never going to be some amazing top-tier pass rusher. The Giants still need to upgrade pass rusher. But like he's that good rotational piece who, again, hands, feet, and IQ are always working. Like there was a play, there's a play last week versus Kansas City where he shed 3 blocks. Had to, stop at the line of scrimmage because, he plays his gap down. There's a pull. He sheds that, and then he picks, then slams down the fullback and makes a tackle. Like Quincy Roche, like he's a smart player, man. And it's nice to, when we were talking about Lorenzo Carter and O'Shane Ximines, both the guys were inactive today. Lorenzo due to injury. It's like, okay, like Quincy Roche, like you stepped up, and I'm excited to see what Ellerson Smith ends up doing. I mean, they drafted Ellerson Smith over Quincy Roche, so hopefully he can get some PT in eventually.
Yeah, and the underlying storyline of activating Ellerson Smith and playing Quincy Roche more, and Trent Harris was activated too, is O'Shane Ximines was a healthy scratch. O'Shane Ximines was a healthy scratch when Lorenzo Carter was hurt. So here's my thing, Bobby.
He's done.
Why does it take so long and I'm not talking about Joe Judge, NFL coaches to play young guys that obviously are better than some of these veteran guys? We saw it in 2019 with Julian Love and Bethea. Second time I'm bringing up Bethea. And you saw it with Tony, him taking a little bit longer to get involved. There are so many situations where it's happening right now with Matt Peart. It's so many situations.
Matt Peart is not starting for his Tampa, I am going to jump down on the field and fight the Giants coaching staff.
Why are coaches sometimes so damn stubborn? Why?
I don't know, man. It's weird.
No, because it's the difference between Quincy Roche literally winning the game for us walking it off, and O'Shane Ximines having this is tough for O'Shane, but jumping offside and then us losing that game against Kansas City. That's the difference. Playing the young guy who has obviously more upside.
Yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating. I guess it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things, I guess, when you're down in the, and maybe they have a tough time bench. I don't know. I don't know, honestly. Anything else you want to talk about on the defense?
Danny Shelton made a nice return.
We need to keep updating the stats, the rushing stats when he's on the field and when he's not.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, he got destroyed on a play today.
Yeah. I was hoping they'd give up on. Speaking of which, I was hoping they would have given up on him and either just ran their 4 defensive tackles or, promote David Moe or at least someone in there who's going to go in and move their hands and feet and give effort on every play. Yeah.
Not someone who's just going to stand there.
Yeah. So for the defense, you hope they can keep it up. I mean, that's the only thing where it's not the prettiest brand of football. It may not be the most sustainable. Hey, for the first half of the season, right? Or, before these last 3 weeks, it was not sustainable where Giants would allow teams to just drive down the field and then they would not clamp down in the red zone. And now the last 3 weeks, the difference is that particularly last 2 weeks against Kansas City and against Las Vegas, they have clamped down in the red zone. And that is the main difference. Can they continue to do that? That's the main question.
Actually, there's one more thing, a question. It's all right, let's talk about the offense.
Oh, you almost did that to me.
All right, read the ad.
Okay, now you want me to read the ad, and I just put the phone down. Ho, 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 gentlemen and ladies. Happy holidays. Did not have a holiday this past weekend. The holidays came early here at Manscaped, the leading men's hygiene brand. Manscaped just launched new products, including their all-new ultra premium body wash and a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. We've talked about it. I hope I was able to talk about it before, because I talked about it like 2 weeks ago, but now it's just in the ad read for the first time. I wonder if I broke any rules. It's time to give yourself or someone who needs it the gift of beautiful skin, hair, or balls this holiday season. Go to manscaped.com. Use code GIANTS for 20% off plus free shipping. Body wash smells pretty manly, I might say. It complements my cologne very, very well, which I have to say, kind of boosting up the cologne where sometimes I don't want to take a full Italian shower, right? Or I'm just throwing cologne on myself. I want to be able to put a little bit of cologne on, but have the body wash really stand out. And the Manscaped body wash really, really does do that. And inside, you're also going to order a Performance Package 4.0. You're going to find, of course, the Lawnmower 4.0. Electric trimmer has proprietary advanced skin-safe technology. Reduce those cuts on your nuts. Waterproof, of course. It's like the gift to your partner with less mess. 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner has key ingredients with benefits that include hydrating, nourishing, and conditioning the scalp, plus strengthening your hair at the same time. So I want you to get 20% off plus free shipping with the code GIANTS at manscaped.com. 20% off free shipping, code GIANTS, manscaped.com. Every guy out there needs to add Manscaped to their wish list this season.
I'm about to just drive some Manscaped products through people's faces who keep on saying that Adoree Jackson's not good because he drops interceptions. That's what I'm about to do.
Do that.
Yes, I did check Twitter while Justin was reading the ad.
You gotta.
We're going to have to start reading dumb tweets back on the show. We're going to have to bring back that segment.
That's going to be a Simple Man Radio segment.
Here, you know what? I'm going to... Just, if you're in the live chat, you can go to the tweet. Go to my tweets and replies and the ones. Someone's like, I can't believe this dude... Is this dude being serious right now? It's like 1 good game out of 9 and y'all lose your mind. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm going to lose it on you. Adoree Jackson has definitely lived up to the hype and he's been worth the money. The guy doesn't give up big plays. Or plays at all. You know?
Oh, I know. I know, babe.
Yeah. Should I retweet it?
Well, I mean, retweet, quote tweet. What's
just
the
retweet
scenario
so
here?
People could see it.
No. No, we're locked in right now.
All right,
People desperately want to hear about the offense. They are so excited to hear about how well the offense did in a victory.
So frustrating. 16 points by the offense today, Justin. And we knew this was going to happen.
In a game where Kadarius Toney and Kenny Golladay were back.
Yep. And that's what we had said. It's like, you got Toney and Golladay back. Will not having Andrew Thomas still keep them like extremely uber conservative. Like when they didn't have Toney or Golladay versus Carolina, and you're playing a team that not only has really good pass rushers but blitzes a lot like Carolina. It's like, okay, I get that type of game plan. But these past 2 weeks have been pathetic, Justin. And as it's talking about being conservative with how you pass the ball and just passing the ball in general. And let's talk about first down pass run ratio, Justin.
Ooh, I like to do that.
On the first drive of the game, they threw the ball on all 3 first downs. And guess what? They scored a touchdown.
Wow.
They moved the ball well, efficiently.
Explosive play.
Semi-quickly. Led to 7 points. On 19 other first downs, they threw the ball 3 more times the rest of the game. So that means on the following 19 first downs, they ran the ball 16 times. That leads to 9 points total. And Justin, I'm already here. The comebacks to it. They ran the ball well today. They did run the ball pretty well. Their running backs had 26 carries for 134 yards, 5.1 yards per carry. By far their best running game. But that type of running game right there is what you should hope for, like, on maybe not a week in, week out basis, but like, hey, we should be able to run the ball like this on most weeks. But they treated it like they were the 49ers in the 2019 playoff run, where it's like, we just don't need to throw the ball. We're just getting 8-10 yards a chunk. That's not what they were doing. And they would get some good runs, and then all right, we get stopped on one, and then it's like, man, if we don't complete a pass on 2nd and 10, we're screwed. And then we got Daniel Jones got put in 3rd and long all game long. I mean, think about it. We scored 16 points, Justin, in a game where Daniel Jones completed 75% of his passes. 75% of his passes were completed, and the Giants ran the ball well, and they scored 16 points. It's so frustrating, man. They don't target the receivers at all. They didn't get Kadarius Toney involved at all. Galladay's like, you're telling me that we can't get Golladay on a contested one-on-one all game long? Like all game long, that's just not there. That's not part of the offense.
Bobby,
again, they only completed one pass over 15 yards. One pass over 15 yards was completed, or not even completed, attempted, and it was a touchdown to Evan Ingram. The entire game.
David and I were begging. It was a classic 2020 game where the Raiders were just running single high all day. And the thing about them running single high is they weren't even putting that free safety. They weren't even putting that deep safety in the middle of the field. They were constantly just shading that guy to whichever side of the football field had more wide receivers on it. So constantly, the middle of the field was wide open. And you saw when Kenny Golladay was targeted, which it was like on that, those long slants or those posts, whatever you want to, whatever you want.
Skinny posts, 10-yard slants.
The skinny posts. Middle of the field was open, right? Evan Ingram, his touchdown, he's one-on-one on the outside. There's nobody over the middle of the field to come over and try and deflect that ball. It's a one-on-one, opportunity. Evan Ingram goes up and he makes the play. We talked about heading into this year during Evan Ingram's PPP. His average depth of target towards the second half of last year in 2020 was the largest of his career. The first half of 2020, it was the lowest of his career. He had a much better second half of 2020 versus the first half of 2020 where he, tipped up 5 interceptions in the air like he was playing volleyball for the Olympic team, right? So they finally did it and it worked. And it's just one of those things of, even if Colin Johnson's a guy that can go up and get a football. And it doesn't take that long to give a guy a contested catch opportunity. It does not take all that long to get a snap, have a 3-step drop, throw the ball 20 yards downfield, and see if your guy can go up and make a play. It doesn't take that long, and that was their all game. That simple play was their all game. And you pay a guy $72 million to get targets, and you don't do it. And like I said to start the show, The Giants coaching staff is fine. They are fine with this game plan. The media, and they were asking some good questions after the game, they gave Joe Judge every single caveat to say, and pivot, to say, you know what, no, we want to do a little bit better offensively. We want to put a little bit more points on the board. And, the coaching point is always, there's some stuff we have to clean up, right? But he gave him every opportunity to say, you know what, we want to do a little bit better on offense. We want to be a little bit more explosive. No, they were fine with the way that they navigated through that game of just doing barely enough and relying on the other side of the ball to do the majority of the job.
And that's why it's just as much on Joe Judge as it is Jason Garrett at this point. Like, it is a mindset from this team, and it sucks that, like, defensively, it's like this. Like, when you ask what you want defensively as a mindset, Patrick Graham is it. Someone who, moves, is constantly, not like this is my system, I run this system. Like, no, I'm making changes. I'm trying to adjust with the league. I'm trying to be better.
Patrick Graham adjusted mid-game. Jason Garrett hasn't adjusted since 2009.
Well, but that's it's a mindset of how you coach football, and that is like, this is why I blame this as almost as much on Joe Judge as I do on Jason Garrett. Because at the end of the day, Jason Garrett is the one calling the plays, But like, this is under Joe Judge and Jason Garrett, we have 25 games now, and they haven't scored 30 points on offense. 25 games. That is a mindset, and that's why a game where they complete a high percentage of their passes and run the ball the best they have all year, they only score 16 points, because it's just that is their mindset. These grinded out win games, and like, you do all that and you only win the time of possession battle by 20 seconds, by the way, too. So it's not like you're dominating in time of possession. You only won it by 20 seconds. And there's other games where people have talked about time of possession and they lost the time of possession battle. Like, I remember Seattle last year, people were talking about time of possession. They lost that battle versus Seattle last year.
Yeah, they were winning it by 9 minutes at halftime. The thing that hurt them to start the second half is that basically you had 14 minutes worth of game time to start the second half that Daniel Jones wasn't on the field. So, yeah, but I get what you're saying, but it's just that's Bobby. We're gonna see. I'm enjoying Victory Monday. They won the game in the way that they want to win it, right? We're gonna see. How they do. They did it against Carolina, kind of just methodically chipping away, playing a really good defensive game. They almost did it against Kansas City. They did it against Las Vegas, right? We're gonna see. The Giants have an opportunity. They're 3-6. What? One game out of the wild card, right? There's still relevant football that can be played. They're going to play Tampa Bay, maybe lose it, maybe they play them better. I don't know. Monday Night Football on the road, they played them well last year, right? We'll see. And it's going to be on them. They're either going to sink with this.
It'll be better with Thomas, but it's who they are, though, at this point.
They're either going to sink with this or they're going to just skate by, because they're certainly not going to flourish. And it's just not how you operate in this league. We're going to see.
In a game where they never had a 2-score lead, they ran the ball 31 times, threw the ball 23 times. Like 31 rushing attempts to 23 passing plays when you include the sacks. And it was like third down where it's like, well, all right, we're in 3rd and 7, we got to throw the ball. Like, that's literally a wide receiver caught a ball 3 times today. 2 of them were on 3rd and 8.
And that was to Kenny Galladay.
One was the Kenny Galladay, and then the Kadarius Toney's one catch. Like, that was the only time. And then there was other third downs where they checked. They got the ball back with up 4 at the 50-yard line and just started handing the ball off to Elijah Penny.
Yeah.
And then doing 3 tight end play action boot, and it's like, all right, one yard pass to Elijah Penny. Elijah Penny's our fullback. We had 1st and 20. We handed the ball off to him and then threw a fullback screen to Elijah Penny.
Yeah, to Elijah Penny.
Yeah, that's in the beginning of the game before Devontae Booker was injured. And again, Booker played well today. I'm killing it, by the way, with my Giant factors this year.
Yeah, you are.
Humble brag. Unhumble brag. But again, it's like Daniel Jones, that first drive was awesome. Do you have any opinion of Daniel Jones after that? I don't. It's like,
no.
The fumble was bad. And even though, did they give up a sack on that play? But, Daniel Jones had time to throw the ball on that, and he sensed the pressure. He just fumbled it. But, you don't come from this game being like, wow, Daniel, like the Carolina game where the stats great. No, but it's like, that was a good Daniel Jones game. This game, it's like what did you do? It's like, you weren't put in any opportunity to do anything, and there was nothing to do. Again, he completed 75% of his passes. We should coming away from that game like, wow, really good game from Daniel Jones. But it's like just the offense is like it just wasn't set up to pass. And again, they had Kenny Galladay and Kadarius Toney playing today. Darius Slayton, who should be a solid 3. Those guys had a combined 4 targets, I think. Yeah, 4 targets.
And Darius Slayton had 0 catches, 0 yards again, right?
2 games in a row where Darius Slayton shouldn't happen to Darius Slayton. Like, I don't care what your opinion is on Darius Slayton, that should not happen. 2 games in a row, 0 catches, 0 yards. The guy led our team in receiving the past 2 years, and now he's playing against worse competition because you have those other guys on the field. You know, and there was times where there was big moments in the game where it was like a 3rd down, and it's like they had Colin Johnson and Darius Slayton in the game, and not Galladay. Like, it's just so much of it doesn't make sense right now.
Yeah,
you know.
So I have 2 things. I have 2 things. One, for all of the people that are maybe frustrated with us, well, the offensive line bad, the offensive line's bad. When you're setting yourself up constantly for 3rd and 7s, that's not helping your offensive line.
Yeah,
that's
throwing
like
on
doing the opposite.
First down alleviates a bad offensive line. You want to know why? Because on first down, you can take what they give you. Because on first down, you could push the ball downfield, and if it's there, you can take it, but you can check down. You can check down. What screws you with a bad offensive line is when you have 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and it's like 6 yards doesn't get the job done. So getting the ball out quick doesn't work here. You know, so it's like it makes it worse.
You know, we had some 2nd and shorts too this game, and why the Giants not being a team that prioritizes going for it on 4th down is 2nd and short. I know, Bobby, you say 3rd and short is the most dangerous down in football. I think 2nd and short it should be the most dangerous down in football, because then you have the choice of whether you do want to run, or you have a choice of whether you do want to throw the ball deep and play action, and you know, then you still have 3rd and short to run the ball and get the first down, right? So there was even a few times where it's 2nd and short and the Giants just choose to run the ball and they pick up the first down. Well, it's like, well, you know, reward yourself with good first down play. You know, on the plays that you do get good first down production, if you don't get a first down on first down, reward yourself that you did well there, so you could try and maximize, get more yards, you know, flip the game script. I talk about game schedule stuff all the time. And it was extremely, extremely frustrating. Bobby, I get them wanting to use Cunningham often. You know, Cunningham, what's his first name? You know, he's a tackle. He's the backup tackle right now. Corey Cunningham, you know, he's the 3rd-string tackle right now without Andrew Thomas, who should be playing over Nate Solder just because we should just be playing young guys and not be playing Nate Solder anyway. I get putting him in for heavy sets, right? But the constant bringing both Galladay and Toney off the field, what are you telling a defense when you take all of your best weapons off of the field at the same time? There's no threat. I get it if you want to run the ball. I get it. But when you take those guys off the field, there is no threat, 0 threat. And if they're not healthy, then they shouldn't play. I'm sorry. If they're not healthy, they should not be out there. I don't want to hear the pitch count. I don't want to hear we're managing things and we're playing things. If they're not healthy, they shouldn't play. Kadarius Toney got his hand gashed. Like, what? Why are you managing his reps? I don't understand the thought process of not. It's not only just not utilizing your best players, but then not even putting them out there, so they're not even a threat. They're not even a threat to do anything. You're just admitting defeat.
You target Kadarius Toney once and Kenny Galladay twice. Those don't go together. If there was a game where, you know, Kenny Galladay got 7-8 targets and they had a really big game, and it's like, well, Toney kind of suffered from it. Okay, that makes sense. Or the you know, vice versa. For them both, and then also the wide receiver 3 to get 1 target with 0 catches, and that was outside curl, you know, which I'm not even sure Daniel Jones was even trying to complete that. It might have just been like, hey, blanketed coverage, I'm getting that ball outside, putting it way outside to where either Slayton can make a crazy catch or it's incomplete. It's just so frustrating, man. What did you sign Kenny Galladay for if you're not going to throw him contested catches? Like, you can't convince me that there was no opportunity to get Kenny Galladay with contested catches. You know, what was the point of signing him? You know, like, I love the Kenny Galladay signing. I love bringing in Kenny Galladay for helps Daniel Jones, but it's like you don't even let him help Daniel Jones.
I want you to go back to that we signed Kenny Galladay episode, and I want you to count how many times Bobby Skinner and I both said contested catch king or contested catches. Count how many times you said in an episode. Guarantee it's like 45.
It's yeah, it's.
Because Bobby, the ironic thing is, I'm sorry, that's like the only thing that we did in 2020. Why is Golden Tate over the course of 2019 and 2020 gotten more contested catch opportunities than Kenny Galladay throughout his first however many games he's been healthy.
I mean, we're 9 games in. We haven't gotten a touchdown yet. I know some injuries, but yeah, it's frustrating, this offense. Now, Andrew Thomas is probably going to come back, and he's going to save Jason Garrett's job. Because they will be more aggressive with Andrew Thomas. Like, that's a fact. Because you can trust the blind side. I truly do miss Andrew a ton. But it's going to save their job. Yeah. They're going to go 6-10, 6-11, 7-10.
No, they're going 9-8. I don't know what you're talking about. 9-8.
It sounds so crazy, but it doesn't sound crazy when you say that to me, and that's why I'm an idiot, because that should sound crazy to me when you say that.
Yeah, but then when we talk about the offense and we break it down, it's like, well, how? But like I said, victory Monday. I know you could be either on our side and say, hey, rip that offense apart, or you could be ripping your hair out saying you should enjoy victory. We're gonna see. I'm kind of like laissez-faire right now. My hands are off. It's like my cards are on the table of both of our cards are on the table of this is what we think and this is what they should do. And the offensive line, frankly, in my opinion, and the lack of offensive line is not an excuse to not throw the ball. And we're not even talking about throwing the ball down the field to take 20-yard deep shots. Daniel Jones' average depth of target in his air yards today was less than Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football was 4 yards against the Chiefs. His average depth of target, his average air yards, Daniel Jones on average was throwing the ball 4 yards down the field against the Chiefs. It was 3.7 against the Raiders. I'm sorry. Your offensive, you could have just turnstiles at offensive line, which we basically do. But that is just, that's unacceptable. That is unacceptable at the pro level. 3.7.
Yeah, that's
but we'll see.
So dumb.
We'll see. It's their approach. It's what they think
I'm scared
works.
that it's going to damage Daniel Jones. Even if they actually no, he's coachable. But it's so frustrating. It's how conservative this offense is, and it's there's not even the deep shots to take. And again, let him go from high to low. Let him decipher stuff. And it's nope, quick game.
And the quick game's not even quick. Daniel Jones' time to throw was over 2 3/4 seconds today.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Anything else before we talk about me flipping a car over?
No, I mean, here's what I will say. The running game came back. You talked about it. Devontae Booker had a career game. It's funny. They showed...
I couldn't believe that was his career high in rushing. He'd been in the league for a while.
They showed a graphic on the screen. What did he finish with? 99 yards?
He had 101 yards, and then he had 102 yards, and then he had a 3-yard loss, and they put him and he went under 100.
So he finished with 99 yards, and they showed a graphic on the screen at the stadium that once he crossed 85 yards, that it was a career day. So I did find it to be funny that we gave a running back $2.5 million who hasn't even had a 100-yard career day.
He has guaranteed money next year. Who never had 100 yards.
Joy. So, but good for Devontae Booker. His rushing yards over expected per attempt was over a yard, which was one of the best from this weekend. I mean, why we signed him is because he's an efficient running back, right? His time behind the line of scrimmage was relatively low today, which that's exactly why we signed him, right? No matter how many 8-man boxes.
Receiver too.
Yeah, which is why he's better than Wayne Gallman. No matter how many 8-man boxes that you face, we want you to be efficient. We want you to get 4 or 5 yards, and he did that today. So good career day for him. And King Penny, when Devontae Booker went out with that hip injury, which he was ready to come back in the game, but when he went out with that injury during that drive where the Giants kicked the field goal, by the way, Graham Gano he's not even the guy that we need to talk about because he just shows up every week, no matter how much I hate field goals. But
by the way, I didn't think that Keon Crossen hit was as cheap as people made it out to be.
Yeah, I just found it to be funny that we traded a 6th-round pick for him and special teams king, Keon Crossen.
He blocked him. I wasn't mad at him.
But King Penny, 7 yards per carry.
King Penny. I wonder if he is embraced that's funny, or he's oh my god, I made this joke. And I'll take blame for that, Elijah. Sorry. All right, so yeah, defense we talked about. Offensively, Joe Judge. It's this just as much his offense as it is Jason Garrett's.
How about that Wildcat?
Wildcat's one of those things that when it works, everyone loves it. I mean, we ran it third down versus the Cowboys on 3rd and goal from the 7, and everyone loved it because we gained 5-6 yards. So it's when it works, it's awesome. When it doesn't, here's what I'll say: when we're on defense and other teams try that stuff, I'm like, yep, come on, keep doing
Beautiful.
that.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't like the Wildcats. Like when the Chiefs tried to do that trick play last week, I was like, please, keep doing that cute stuff. Like that I love it.
So when you run a play like that, do you want to go for it on 4th down? I did.
It was 4th and like 4 or 5, and they were at like their 40. I actually didn't have any problem with any of the 4th down decisions today.
That was the one I had a problem with. Simply because
it was the second drive of the game. They had scored a touchdown the first drive.
Yeah. The Raiders, they drove down first drive of the game. They just drove down. They tied it right away. So I was like, why does it matter? If they're just going to drive down the field, why does it matter where they start? And the Giants clamped down in the red zone anyway. So I wanted to go for it there. Ben Baldwin's bot, which I go off of for the stats report videos, it had it as a toss-up where, winning percentage would have been the same if you punted or if you went for it there. So I will admit, Joe Judge did win the field position battle today. That is something that he wanted to do, and he did win it.
Hallelujah. All right. That's an episode.
Story time.
Can you edit the video into the YouTube?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. You got to send it to me.
I'll text it, or I guess I could maybe email it to you too, from my phone.
No, I prefer email so I can download the file straight.
That might have been my favorite, me and my brother screwing around video of all time.
So I hate that the video cuts out.
I know, because I was doing Instagram stories, and when we flipped over, I let go of it.
All right, so for podcast listeners, tell the story.
So there's this event, and I don't get to go to it this year, called Crasherama. It's the day after Thanksgiving in Orlando. They have an oval racetrack there. They just have a bunch of these crazy events, like a flagpole race, a figure 8 school bus race, a race where you have trailers behind you, a chain race where it's 2 cars, one leading the way. Just all types of different stuff. And so my brother enters it every single year, which means you got to buy not a total junk car, but a car that can run, running on all the cylinders, but it's cheap and it's bad. So my brother got this little 5-speed, and he's like, "You see my new car?" And he's like, "All right, let's go." He's like, "Let's go screw around in it." So go behind my buddy's or behind his buddy's business, and I won't say what the business is or name is for location. And he just starts romping through the grass, and this is this little car, and he goes to do the e-brake, pull the e-brake thing in the grass, and I knew it. This sounds a little pat myself on the back, but I wasn't scared at all. I was like, this is gonna flip, and I was laughing as it flipped over on its side. It's on its side, so my brother's we weren't, neither one of us wearing our seatbelt either.
Oh, great! That was gonna be my follow-up question.
And there's people outside watching us, and so my brother opens the door, climbs out, and then I climb out.
So did it flip and was on the roof?
I was in the passenger seat, so it flipped on. It just flipped on its side.
So were you on the ground?
Yeah.
How did you get out?
It was me, window, grass.
How did you get out? I mean, I don't know if I would.
We opened the driver's side door and climbed out of it.
Now, did somebody have to hold the driver's side door open because gravity and it would fall down?
No, you just had to finagle it. I mean, my brother held it for when I opened, but he had to get out first. So I take a quick video, but it's all right, we need to get out of here before the cops come. And so literally,
you got out and you just pushed it from the roof, and
we flipped it over, and so we flip it over, and me, instead of because I don't want to get in trouble with cops or anything, and there's people literally recording it, I just run. I flip it over and just start running away, and my brother gets in it and drives away, and then we hit it in his backyard. But there was people recording. I really want to get the video of the person. It would be such a great profile pic to have me and my brother sideways in the car, squished up against.
That is great.
That would be the greatest picture of all time. But man, that was I actually, you don't see us actually flip over, which I wish I had that video.
Yeah,
but
that's
it
why
also,
I'm like that's like the thing that I want to see right
but
now.
you see it getting sideways, and
Yeah.
but the Instagram story I think does play kind of well, where it's like, oh, it's gonna flip, and you hear me say it's gonna flip, and then like
then
the
it
next thing you
cuts.
know is me climbing out, and then the thing being on its side. So I'll email it to you so you can post it.
How uncomfortable was it, especially because you didn't have a seatbelt on? How uncomfortable was it to be like? So did you
We
have
were
the window
going
open?
slow, it wasn't like we were going. Flipping a car is like the safest way to wreck. That sounds crazy, but it's like you're not stopping momentum at full speed. You're just rolling. It's like would you rather run into a wall, or run into a tree, Justin, or would you rather just fall and tumble?
I don't know.
As long as it doesn't crush up on you, which it didn't. We weren't going fast enough. And it was in the grass.
I've fallen and tumbled before. I have a sensitive neck, so. What we need is a full film breakdown. You need to get the angles of other people that recorded that, and then you need to do a voiceover for it.
Trust me, if I can get the
clean their pools, and then be like,
an
hey,
apartment complex.
as payment, can you?
I think I'm just gonna have
send
my
me
brother
that?
seeing, because my cousin was watching it, and I guess he was friends with their kid. But people were.
There you go.
But yeah, it's I just think it'd be a great video to see like this car on its side, and then you see these two dudes climb out, flip it over. One dude gets in it and drives away, and the other dude just runs away on foot. Like that would go viral. That
It
video.
would. I mean, especially because your brother literally drove away, but then you just ran away. In my opinion, I think running away was the bad move there, because then if cops are going to come, they're going to see that somebody's literally running away.
No, I
Versus
would have
in a
just been
car.
walking down the street if I saw cops pull down.
Oh, okay. Oh, you would.
Where you're in the
play it
car,
cool?
you're in the car.
You play it cool.
Yeah, but that was I really wish we had the camera footage of it happening, because it would
Were you like hauling ass though, or were you just like jogging?
No, it was through the grass. I remember going like 20 miles an hour.
No, I'm talking about you running, because you running is quite a sight, as I remember it from the fan fest.
I just sprinted for like 15, 20 seconds, and then got around the corner and just walked back to my brother's house.
All right. So sprint on a scale of 1 to 10. How fast were you sprinting?
Oh, I wasn't like going full. It wasn't like there was cops sitting right there. It was just very much like, all right, I need to.
Because I'm trying to visualize you literally getting out of this car somehow, which I don't even know how I would get out of the car if I was on the grass. I think I'd have to call 911. And then pushing the car over, and then it falls, and then you Devontae Booker it.
Oh man, I was running bad as like on a Saquon one to Saquon Barkley. I was running at like a Devontae Booker speed.
Sure, okay, not a King
for myself,
Penny.
not just
not
speed
a King
in general.
Penny, not King Penny.
So yeah, I mean that was. I deleted it off Twitter though. I was like, I just don't want this on Twitter. People on Twitter are weird. I was like, let me just put it on, and I passed you on Instagram. How about that? But you gained some followers out of it too.
Congratulations. I didn't promote it though. I didn't like openly promote it. I just ran into it. And I also changed my Instagram handle to Justin Panic to match my Twitter
Which
profile.
you didn't change that in the Talking Giants bio. I did that for you.
Thank you. So you're a good guy. The world comes full circle.
Listen, I don't want you to suffer. I just want me to be better.
That's true. That's a good way
So
to
everyone
put
go
it.
follow Justin on Instagram.
Oh,
I
there
got
you
a good 40 follower lead on him now. So
Yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna
I'll get another 5 from this.
not gonna be relinquishing control anymore. So maybe we'll get that video. I have to call my brother. So that's an episode. You always get the best stories the Sunday before bye week. Like the Little Caesar story was bye week. So, and that's when Joe Judge listens because he's got some time off. So hopefully Joe Judge will listen to this one, even though we're a lot less high on Joe.
Yeah.
Well, we're like anti-Judge at this point, where it's
Yeah.
like we don't want him back. Where last year we really liked him. And the things that we liked him for, by the way, I still really like those things. It's just the offense is so bad. Like he has to take control. Like the offense is the most important thing in football, and that's where I'm at with Joe Judge.
Which we said the same things last year, by the way. Like our critiques are consistent. I was pretty critical of the fourth down stuff, and then we said like we like Joe Judge for XYZ. I mean, also Joe Judge deserves credit for Patrick Graham in the defense, so he does deserve credit for that. But the offense is the most important thing in football. An offensive play caller, I would prioritize it. Positions in football: quarterback, left tackle, offensive play caller. I would put
offensive play caller over left tackle.
Oh, I don't know about that because well, we can debate that another time. But yeah. So, I think Joe Judge is safe anyway. So Joe, if you're listening, looking forward to having you next year. Get the offense right. I know you're not going anywhere. I think you know you're not going anywhere. And next time you talk to the media, talk about give a metaphor where you're flipping a car.
Don't tell him to do it, because when we tell him to do it, he doesn't do it.
Well, if there's a metaphor of flipping a car, then that's how we know.
We'll just start it. We'll ignore it. Like, Joe Judge has nothing to do with this offense. It's not his fault. It's John Mayer's fault.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
All right, so schedule, because it is the bye week. We'll have our mailbag out on Thursday. Our videos will stay the same. Actually, you know what? I'm putting both O-line report and film review out on Tuesday. So the mailbag pod on Thursday, and then next Monday off the bye week, we are doing a joint podcast with the NYG Weeklies guys, Ethan and NYG Daily Weiss. So they'll be on our pod, and then we'll go on their pod. We'll probably talk about Joe Judge, Daniel Jones, GM, or Dave Gettleman, and like one other topic. Maybe I think the fourth topic should just be like us arguing against each other about something.
Sure. Leonard Williams.
So I'm looking forward to battling about Daniel Jones. Yeah, Leonard Williams would be a good one. So that'll be that, and then we'll obviously have our preview out for the Bucs game the Friday. By the way, I'm going to the next 2 Giants games. I will be in attendance.
That's big. I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, I'm excited. So the next 2 Giants games, Bobby Skinner will be there live. So that means you got to clip the Bucs game.
Yes, I was thinking about that on my way home today. Like,
I'll retweet every single one of them.
I am going to be the only one making clips for Giants games next Monday night, which excites me. So,
bam. All right, we appreciate you guys. We'll be back on Thursday unless there's any breaking news. Like last year, they fired Mark Colombo in the bye week, and we had to break some news. So unless there's any breaking news, Jason Garrett being fired, we will be back on Thursday for a mailbag pod. We appreciate you guys. Enjoy Victory Monday. I know we kind of did the little Debbie Downer towards the end, but enjoy Victory Monday, because you don't get a lot of them. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you on Thursday. Until then, let's go Big Blue.